Well, hello. This week you join me in the idyllic surrounds of Pennyhill Park, England's training base, of course, and well, some really interesting stuff that's just come out of Eddie Jones's press conference. He's talked about Johnny Sexton and the fact that he may have had this whiplash injury, and seems to be hinting towards the fact that the Irish coaches are not looking after him as well as perhaps Sexton's family would like him to be. Here's what Eddie Jones had to say.
Yeah, Sexton's an interesting one. They've talked about him having whiplash injuries, which is not a great thing to talk about. I'm sure his mother and father would be worried about that. So hopefully the lad's right on Saturday to play.
So what followed after that was a bit of a contretemps between Jones and a couple of members of the English press corps. It was mainly about whether it's legitimate to go for certain players in the team, go for the weak links as Jones saw them. Seemed to be missing the point, of course, that many Irish journalists have brought up this week, that players are being targeted to actually take them out off the ball, or perhaps illegally to try and injure them and remove them from the field of play. But Jones, he decided to come in again at the end of the press session to make his own point and, picked out Nick Mullins and Martin Bayfield for an interesting little comparison.
When we're attacking weak defenders. We're looking for weak defenders. Why would we run at the strongest defenders? So if Martin's there and sorry, what's your name? Nick, and Nick's there, we're not going to run at Martin, are we?
You never saw him play, mate.
You clearly never saw me play.
Well, maybe. We're going to run at Nick. Or this bloke here. Maybe we'll run at this bloke here. We're not going to run at their strongest defenders. We always run at their weak defenders. Now, I'm not saying Sexton's a weak defender. Maybe France did. But we're going to be targeting players in the island side because we want to win. And you win a game of rugby by attacking their weak points. And to say that's unfair is just ridiculous. And you shouldn't be asking those questions.
So that's what you get with the Eddie Jones press conferences, a bit of seriousness but also a fair amount of humour as well. So that's how that one turned out. Just to turn our attention to some of the other games, of course, happening this weekend. Wales against France on Friday night. Dan Lydiate back in the side in the back row. Warren Gatland is clearly a big fan of that sort of piano shifting style back row. He's not got Justin Tipuric in there, which I think will make many Wales fans happy because they don't seem to see him as the right solution in that position. George North and Alex Cuthbert on both wings. Davis and Roberts in the centre. We haven't seen all of those combinations in place since Wales actually lost to England in the tournament last year. The French, well, we don't know what they're going to bring. We don't know how well they're functioning under Guy Novas and the plans that he has for them. I suspect Wales will shade that one in Cardiff on Friday night. And then on Saturday, before England-Ireland, of course, it's, well, the wooden spoon decider. We'd love it not to be. We'd love both of those sides to be more competitive than they are. And Scotland, well, they seem a shadow of the former selves they were during that World Cup. Can they get it together? Can they turn that corner? Of course, if they get a win against Italy, well, it won't be seen as turning much of a corner anyway, will it? So plenty to look forward to, and of course England-Ireland then after that. New caps in the likes of Van der Fleer and of course McCloskey in the centre. Can Farrell and JJ work their way around them in midfield? That's going to be one to watch. And the battle of the tens as well. George Ford against Johnny Sexton. Plenty to watch. Enjoy round 3 of the RBS Six Nations.